Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Gamers Addict presents Alucard's Top 5 Retro. How are you guys doing today? Good? Bad? Happy? Sad? How are you all? Why am I snapping? Does this annoy you guys? Are you happy to talk and snap? Are you happy anyways? Alrighty guys, so let's go ahead and get started right away. So I was thinking of a top 5 list and I decided I wanted to go ahead and do a top 5 RPGs for the Wii. Why? Because I got it. No, I want to do it for the Wii because the Wii is an awesome system. It is an amazing system. I have a huge connection to it and it is one of my favorite Nintendo systems ever. And I don't care if all of you guys keep saying, oh, but they have M&M Beach Party and Barbie and blah blah blah. There is some amazing games on here, ladies and gentlemen. I am telling you, amazing games. You just have to dig through the library just like you have to do on the NES, get rid of all the LGN crap and really dig down to the good stuff like the Mega Mans and the Castlevania minus Simon's Quest. Mega Man minus Simon's Quest. So we're going to go ahead and get started and I want to talk about my top 5 favorite RPGs on the system. But going ahead and getting started with number 5, I'm bringing it up. We're going to go ahead and show you Sakura Wars. This beautiful, wonderful game. Now, what can I say about Sakura Wars? Well, they never came out in America. Like, literally never, other than this single one, came out here. I remember hearing about Sakura Wars all the way back on the Saturn and the Dreamcast, and they were all over the place, and it was supposed to be this really amazing RPG, and I wanted to play them so bad, but I couldn't. And finally, Miss America got it localized and we got the first and only game, and it was Sakura Wars, So Long My Love. What kind of game is Sakura Wars? Well, it's classified as a SRPG. Technically that's strategy RPG, but it's different. It's, what's the best way for me to explain it? It does have strategy portions from it, but it's also kind of like a mix between that and a dating sim. Is that a good way to put it, honey? Yeah, and kind of like a mix between a dating sim and building friendships. So what I mean is when you're playing this game, you start out as, I'm not going to be giving anything away, but you start out as this main character and you end up meeting this cast of wonderful people, and each one of them have their own stories and they all intertwine. Now, a lot of this game, you're going to be having conversations, so if you don't like those kind of games and you need the Call of Duty action stuff all over the place, it isn't going to be the kind of game for you. But you're basically building relationships and friendships. You're going into town, going to different places, you can go on dates, you could actually answer different questions with different answers, and depending on how you answer it, you will build different relationships with different people, and it can determine multiple different endings and different cutscenes throughout the game. And it's really cool because when I was playing it, I remember I really wanted to date this one girl. I thought she was adorable, and I was like, okay, this is the girl I'm going to keep. And once I actually started investing time in her, I was like, no. She got really, really irritating, didn't she? Yeah, so you're going to build these friendships, you're going to have fun, you're going to do mini games, you're going to run around towns talking, doing all these tasks, and then at the core, where the action gameplay comes in, is there's these attacks that will happen. So to read the back, at the start of the Broadway battle against evil warlords of ancient Japan in New York in their steam-powered mechanized battle suits. Okay, that's another thing. Steampunk, basically inspired. So what will happen is there'll be an enemy and some kind of war and a story that's going on, and every once in a while you have to get in a fight. Well, when you get in a fight, it plays out like a strategy RPG. So you have your mech suits and you're running around and having to destroy a set of enemies in different areas, and you have to strategize about where you're going to go first, what characters you're going to attack with, who's going to defend, and it's really difficult sometimes. I'm not personally a big strategy RPG fan. If it was just that, I wouldn't be that into it. But what drives me is all the characters, all their individual stories, and it just has such a great charm to it that it makes me able to go through the strategy parts. Now, that being said, it is not a bad strategy RPG. The fighting mechanics actually work very well. They're not exactly my type, but for any of you all out there that are into those kind of games, it really works. It's this great mix, and I don't want to go on for too long, but you should look up Sakura Wars So Long My Love. Not going to give away any stories, characters, or anything, and just check it out. So let's go ahead and put this over here and move on. We are at number 4. I don't know why it went like that. That makes it look like 8. Okay, moving on. Oh, God help me. God, please. This game. The next game we're going to talk about is Fragile Dreams Farewell Runes of the Moon. All I gotta say is... Okay, that last part, no. The crying part, yeah, but then I just kind of went into a goopy Jim Carrey mode, and that's not actually what I'm talking about.
Take emotion seriously.
I guess so. Okay, so I heard about this game, and it was a small localization that came here from Xseed. And what can I say about this game? I was very interested in buying it. It disappeared from GameStop. It got rare, and it went up in price. It's probably like 60, 70 bucks right now, but who knows, it could have gone up more. This game is very emotionally conflicting. Very, very emotionally conflicting. What will I say about the game? You start out the game, main character, you're a young boy, and you're living with your grandfather. And you wake up one morning, and your grandfather is dead. And yes, spoiler. And everybody in the world is gone. It is literally no one there. So you're super depressed and sad, and the only companion you have is his backpack. And in the back is basically a machine that was created with technology that talks to you as a conscious human being.
A machine that was created with technology?
Yeah, it could be created with cotton, or fabric, or bananas. I don't know. Anyways, you shoot. Okay, so you're traversing this world, and here's the thing about the game I want to say really quick. It is not even remotely perfect. The fighting in it isn't that great. Like the aiming and how you're hitting, not perfect at all. There's a lot of mechanical flaws in the game, but again, where this game really shined is the mood of the game. The graphics of the game are beautiful. The style, the story. It is a beautifully melancholy, sad game. There is many redeeming factors, but it seems that our main character just can't seem to catch a break because, well, I can't give this away, but as you're running through this world, he's trying to figure out what's going on, but he also wants to find companionship, because what's the point of being human without finding somebody that you care for, somebody that you can love? And he finds her, this beautiful girl. When he sees her, his eyes light up and they get super big, and it's like instant, you know. We're talking about Titanic love right there, you know, never let go. So once he finds her, she just kind of takes off, and what he's doing is he keeps searching for this one girl, and on his journey to try to find her, he's finding different tablets and stories about what's going on in the world. You meet an interesting cast of different characters, most of them being dead. Most of these characters you're running into are ghosts, but not all of them. The game had me on an emotional roller coaster. It's like, it was so sad half the time. It was hard for me to play. I got really upset, and I didn't know whether I was going to love this game or hate it. It's a very open-minded game. There's a lot of different subjects and sexuality and things that they explain in it, and it's not too, it's pretty mature, but not, I wouldn't say too mature for kids, but you know, you probably want to be at least 15 and up for this one. It's amazing. Another place it shines is the boss battles are really, really cool, where you get into when you get into these fights, and it just really creates a world that you won't find anywhere else. Yes, it's one of the saddest games I've ever played, one of the most melancholy games I've ever played. This game made me drop tears. But in the final end, what I will say about this game, Fragile Dreams, is while it is definitely not your feel-good game of the year, it is absolutely 100% an amazing, melancholy, and beautiful journey, and this is something you all should absolutely play. So pick it up. Moving on and moving forward, we're going to go ahead and go on to, what number are we on? We are on number 3. So for number 3, we're going to move to another game now. We're getting into something called Project Rainfall, and I'm going to discuss this with you in just a minute. the next game is called Pandora's Tower. Okay, Pandora's Tower. Let's take a little look-see. Oh yes, such a wonderful game. Okay, so there was something called Project Rainfall, and you're going to see these next 3 games. And basically, they were a team of people who were trying to get certain RPGs localized to America that were never coming here. These guys worked blood, sweat, and tears to get this done. This small team of people paid money to have interviews with heads from Nintendo to be able to get these games out, and they managed to get all 3 of them out. That's what we're going through. Pandora's Tower. Oh boy. What can I say about this game? It reminds me of very old school games, going back to 128-bit era. Basically, it starts out and there is she? I always forget. Is she a princess, babe? It's been a while.
Festival Maiden.
Yeah, or Festival Maiden, and you see this beautiful cutscene and beautiful festival, and she has this curse that comes down upon her. And what ends up happening is this curse requires her to eat flesh, beast flesh, and if she doesn't eat it, she slowly starts turning into a beast herself. It is very creepy, very disturbing how she does this, and very interesting. So, because your character is actually in love with her, you grab her and you take her to this kind of like witchy woman, and you're like, I need your help, what can I do? Your goal, you gotta go through 14 towers, okay? And you have to fight the bosses, get the master beast flesh, and feed it to her so you can try and cure her. That's all I'm going to say about the story. Graphically, it's beautiful and old school. The dungeons that you go through all have variations and puzzles. You have long chains, the way you're climbing, turning different things. You're one big gigantic box that you're basically trying to manipulate to get through. But while you're doing this, there's a time limit, and this time limit spins, and if it gets too low, she starts turning into a beast. So you gotta get flesh, get back there and feed her temporarily. And these scenes where she's biting into them, wow, you guys have got to check this out. So basically you're doing that. In between each tower, you go home, you talk to her, you have to build up a relationship. She'll make you things. You can customize this castle that you're staying in, and depending on how many times you let her get sick, how much you feed her, and how much you interact with her, it could change the ending of this game for the good or for the bad, depending. This is a beautiful game, very reminiscent of old school that you would have never seen during this era, and it is one of the most underrated games you will ever play on the Wii. Pick it up, Pandora's Tower. Moving forward again. She loves that word. Okay, not to make this too long, but the next one that came out is called The Last Story. This is a special edition that I got. It's all beautiful and embroidered to the front and the back with an art book. The Last Story was created by the original creator of Final Fantasy. He obviously dropped out after a certain point and left Square Enix, I'm not sure when, sometime after 6 or 7, and he formed his own studio and he decided to create The Last Story. Ironic, Final Fantasy, The Last Story. Every one of his games seem to be an ending, like there's going to be no more, but there's always a ton of them. In this case we have one and he's working on another one. I'm going to give you a base of this game. Number one, the graphics are probably some of the best, but not the best that I've seen on the Wii. The online play used to be amazing. Unfortunately, you can't do that anymore. I don't want to give away anything with the story. I'm not going to go too much into detail about any of it, but the first half of the game takes place between all the different characters and learning their backstories and their history. So the game likes to really build up all the characters together to make you have a good grasp on who you're dealing with. And these characters are awesome. They are all different. They all have different personalities. Some are drunks, some are happy, some are emo. There's a lot of details to them. And when you're first playing the game, it feels like it's going to be a bit slow. But where it picks up in two places is the action. The fighting mechanics in this game, they're so amazing. It's kind of like a mix between a regular RPG and a hack and slash put together with so many more mechanics that I'm not going to go into right now unless I do a detailed review. But when you're building up in the story, it feels like it's great. It starts to feel a little slow, but when you get to the second half of this game, it explodes into one of the most beautiful games I've ever played on the Wii. And the ending of this game, oh my god, killed me. And the game continues on even after the ending to bring you more story. I know I didn't tell you much about it, but I want to save it for later. Check out the last story, pick it up. I am telling you, this game is brilliant. We're going to move to the finale now. Dun dun dun. I could go on about this game for 40 years. I'll have to do that in a review later, either on our channel or for the Gamers Addict. But really quick, you guys should all know this game, and it is the biggest, best RPG to ever come out on the Wii, and that is Xenoblade Chronicles. Xenoblade Chronicles has the most beautiful graphics I've ever seen on the Wii in my life. This game proved how giant and beautiful and fluent of a world you can create on a system like the Wii, where people thought it wasn't possible. I didn't think this game was possible. It is crazy what they've done with this. I'm going to give you just a quick basis. This game revolves around a character and a sword, which is known as the Monado.
Really? A character and a sword?
Sword, yes.
It's almost like every fantasy
Every
game.
Basically, you come into town and there's something called the Monado. It is a very powerful and spiritual sword. And there is a lot of war and things going on. In the opening, you see the Mechonis and the Bionis. They are two giant titans fighting each other in the sky, okay? And what's interesting is when it tells you the story and how they ended up freezing, your planet that you live on, your existence, is on the Mechonis and the Bionis. So you literally are climbing up these giant mechs, but your characters are actually very small, even though to your perspective they're full-size humans. It is so accurate on this game that if you go through and look at like an out-of-bounds camera, you can see from the beginning where you're traveling up the foot to the leg, going all the way up to the very top of it. The world feels endless. The mini games they have in here, the side quests that they have in here, the overall story. It is incredibly epic and one of the best JRPGs of our generation, for sure, and of the last 3 generations. So, again, I can't take too much time to go into this game. I really want to do a full review and talk about the story and everything that it's made up on. But what I'll tell you guys is you need to play this game. It does not feel like any other game of the generation, especially on the Wii. The world is huge. Everything in it is beautiful and vast. It is just so incredible, and your adventure in this game is going to go on for far over 100 hours. There is so much brilliance and beauty to this game, and it has spawned sequels. They have Xenoblade Chronicles X on the Wii U, which is brilliant, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 on the Switch, which I have been, I got this which I have yet to actually play on the third one. I know it didn't feel like I told you much, but let me read the back for you here. Claim the Monado, an ancient weapon with the power to reveal the future and lead the charge against a vicious army of mechanical invaders. The fighting style of this game, and one other thing I want to mention, is very interesting because it has a menu at the bottom when you're fighting and you're automatically moving, but you can set what you want to do with all the different characters. You can bond them all together to make everything stronger. You're powering up all of your different moves and picking them on this wheel as you're going. There is so much strategy involved in this game. It's really hard to explain. So I'm going to stop there. Again, I feel frustrated when I'm talking about this because I feel like I'm not even delving remotely into the characters, the stories, or explanations, but this isn't a review. This is a top 5 pick. So ultimately, all I can say is go and play this game. Check it out. You will absolutely love it. And just so you know, in the future, I will be doing a full review and in-depth writing of this game, Xenoblade. If you're going to pick up any of these games, make sure you pick this one up no matter what. Freaking beautiful, guys. Anyways, that is our top 5 list for the month. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you again, Javier, for making me a part of your show. It's absolutely wonderful. And guys, as always, my friends, well, I normally say that on my channel, but I'm going to say it here too. Until next time.